Whitney Houston. A voice may fade, but a soul never stops singing. What makes a person a legend? A voice? Fame? Or the ability to walk on stage when the heart is ready to surrender, but still takes one more breath for the sake of a song? She was strength. She was hope. She was someone who could sing in a way that made you forget to breathe. But when the world lifted her too high, who reached for her hand when she began to fall? What does a person feel when they once became a symbol of a nation and then were left alone with silence? Can even a legend survive in a world where love is measured in likes and no one hears the soul? This story is not about fame. It is a story about how pain can turn into a song. August 9th, 1963, New Jersey. An ordinary hospital. An ordinary day. An ordinary girl. Or so everyone thought. But no one yet knew, on this day, a voice was born. Her name was Whitney Elizabeth Houston. She wasn't just born into a family, she was born into a musical altar. Her mother, Sissy Houston, a singer. Her godmother, Aretha Franklin, a legend. The family rehearsed constantly, sang, performed. Music lived in the walls, like the house's breath. While other children played outside, Whitney sat by the door of the rehearsal room and listened. She was a quiet child, not sad, observing. She didn't interrupt adults. She listened to their voices, to their breath between lines, to their strength and their fragility.
Her mother once said, she wasn't listening to music, she was listening to people's souls. And it was true. Even as a child, she understood emotions, sensed the mood of a room, could tell who was hurting and who needed comfort with just one glance. Every Sunday they went to church. For her, it wasn't just a place, it was another world. She sat in the front row, and it seemed she didn't even breathe. People thought she was shy, but in truth, she was learning to hear the silence between notes, learning to feel the power of prayer, learning to understand that people came there with wounded hearts, and music could give them air when breathing became painful. On her 11th birthday, she told her mother that morning, "Today I will go on stage." "You're too young," her mother said. Whitney answered calmly, "I don't want to be big, I want to be real." The service, the church, quiet prayers, and suddenly, she stepped forward. No fear, no rehearsal, as if someone was guiding her. The stage trembled. People turned. Later, a musician would say, "She didn't sing. It felt like the air around her started to glow." Her mother cried, not because it was her daughter, but because she knew this voice wasn't hers. It came from somewhere higher. School didn't always accept her. She wasn't like everyone else, didn't seek attention, didn't try to be loud. She said, "When you have a voice, loneliness isn't an enemy, it becomes a partner." Her first friend wasn't a classmate. Her first friend was a song. Whitney didn't chase show business. She was simply looking for a place where she could be herself. But destiny had other plans. It did not give her a choice. It gave her a voice people called, not human, but heavenly. And so began the story of a singer whose voice would change music and touch millions of lives. 1985. Whitney was only 21. At her first press conference, a journalist asked, "Are you afraid of failure?" She smiled, as if she already knew fate's answer. "I'm afraid of not trying." After that sentence, the world stopped seeing her as a newcomer. It went quiet and began listening. Her first album, her first video, her first contract, and instantly, an explosion. She didn't just enter the industry, she broke down the door and rewrote the rules. Whitney Houston became the first artist in history whose first 3 singles debuted at #1 on Billboard. Critics wrote,
a new standard of vocal performance, a new era of pop music, a new benchmark. She wasn't compared, she was studied. Experts analyzed her breath control, transitions, range. But no one could explain one thing: why tears appeared in listeners' eyes within the first minute of her songs. She didn't look like a star. She didn't try to be one. She wasn't performing. She was answering. Answering the question, how does strength sound? Can a voice heal? Can a prayer become a hit? Whitney became the voice of love, the voice of faith, the voice of hope. She didn't just sell albums. She changed people's inner worlds. That's why millions wrote, "With Whitney, I can breathe easier." But destiny always sends a bill. Always. And the higher you rise, the colder the wind that may knock you down. Her mother whispered, "The pendulum of fame never stands still. If it rises, one day it will swing back." Whitney looked in the mirror and said, "I'm ready." But the truth was different. The world saw an icon. She felt that the battle was only beginning. 1991, Super Bowl X25, 73,000 people in the stadium, millions watching at home. Everyone expected a show. No one expected a miracle. Backstage, she sat alone, eyes closed, hands trembling. Her manager asked, "Are you nervous?" She whispered, "I'm not singing the anthem. I'm singing a prayer." She walked out as if something inside her already knew this moment would live longer than she would. When she stepped onto the field, the arena felt frozen. People fell silent. She lifted the microphone and paused. Some thought she forgot the words, but in truth, she gave the world a chance to hear silence before the storm. "Oh, say, can you see?" The first note, and the stadium stopped breathing. People began to rise, not by command, but by instinct. Something extraordinary was happening. Even soldiers watching from conflict zones stood at attention before the screens. One of them later said, "I was at war, but for the first time I felt at home when I heard her sing." It wasn't an anthem. It was a collective confession, and millions cried, not from patriotism, but because for the first time in a long while, they felt unity.
When she finished, there were no shouts, only silence, deep, sacred, like a minute of mourning for the soul. Then an explosion of applause. She smiled, and for a second looked exhausted, as if she had given the world everything and needed time to reclaim her breath. Journalists wrote, "She didn't sing the anthem, she resurrected a nation." Critics called it the greatest performance of the US anthem in history. Her voice became a sign, proof that whoever you are, you can be heard. But the crack inside her was already forming. She was at her peak, shining, triumphant. And that was the moment the world began doing what it always does to anyone who flies too high. It waited for her fall. Fame turned her into a target, every step photographed, every gesture interpreted, every glance a headline. Too perfect must be fake. Too beautiful must be surgery. Too strong must break soon. Whitney said, "I stopped being afraid of the stage. I started being afraid of the street." Fame isn't applause. Fame is when everyone sees you, but fewer and fewer hear you. During tours, when arenas roared her name, she would step backstage and whisper, "Can I have 5 minutes of silence?" She feared silence, but feared even more what she might hear in it. Journalists kept asking, "What is it like to be a legend? What is it like to be number one?" No one asked, "What is it like to be human inside a legend? Is there still space for pain when you've become a symbol?" She always answered gracefully, calmly, with a smile. But reporters noticed her hands trembling. She once admitted to a close friend, "I'm not afraid of failure. I'm afraid that one day I'll stop being myself and won't notice it." The glass began to crack. Outside, millions of fans. Inside, silence. And the louder the arenas shouted her name, the quieter her own voice became. One night, after a show, in a dim backstage corridor, she heard a voice.
You hold yourself too perfectly. Has anyone ever allowed you to just be alive? She turned. At the door stood Bobby Brown. He didn't idolize her. He didn't worship her. He simply looked into her eyes and didn't look away. "Good show," he said, "but you sing like you're constantly defending yourself." "I defend what I believe in," she replied. He stepped closer. "You're not defending a note. You're defending yourself from pain, and you're too good at it." It wasn't romantic. It was dangerously accurate.
He was noise. She, silence. He was fire. She, ice beginning to melt. And for the first time in years, she felt she could be herself near someone, not a legend. But no one warns you that with freedom sometimes comes another guest, dependence. They spent more time together, danced, talked, laughed. She breathed again. But storms gathered, new friends, new habits, and then something that makes you forget not music, but reality. Bobby could be loving, and he could be destructive. Whitney felt both fires at once. She later said, "He saved me, and he broke me. But I never knew which was harder to leave, him or myself." One night she stood outside his dressing room door, just to talk, just to hear a voice that wasn't music. The door was slightly open, the light fell on the floor, and she whispered the words that started a new chapter. "He will destroy me, but I still choose him." She didn't win or lose, she was simply tired of being strong. And when a strong person gets tired, they don't look for a perfect partner. They look for a place where they can stop being a hero for at least a moment. She believed love can heal, but sometimes love comes to test how much you can endure. Whitney woke up smiling and fell asleep in tears. They could laugh as if no problems existed. An hour later, shout so loudly it seemed no one could hear. But everyone did. The tabloids, the neighbors, the fans. Only she stayed silent. It's better if the storm hits me than if it reaches my voice. Addiction never knocks. It enters quietly, like a shadow, through a little exhaustion or a lonely night. First, a pill to sleep. Then, to wake up. Then, to stop thinking. Love became an excuse. Happiness, a mask. Calm, a trap. Whitney always said, "I'm not afraid of being weak. I'm afraid I might start liking being weak." At first, she thought it was a cold, then fatigue. But one day during rehearsal, she took a note, and her voice cracked. In the middle of a phrase, in front of everyone. She froze. The team froze. She locked herself in the dressing room and whispered to the mirror, "If my voice leaves, where will I go?" Tears no one saw were louder than all her hits. She tried to fight, first the press, then addiction, then Bobby, then herself. 2009, she stepped on stage after a long break. The media wrote, "Her voice is gone." She walked out slowly, carefully, like someone who had forgotten how to walk and was learning again. She took the microphone, looked at the crowd, and said, "I'm still here, and I'm still going to fight." It sounded like a shot. Backstage, she removed her shoes, looked into the mirror for a very long time, and whispered, "If I want to live, I have to become a new Whitney." She knew the old Whitney was gone. Her voice was quieter, her strength less, the world harsher. But she still believed, if the soul is alive, the voice can be restored. The problem was one: time was running out. She trained every day: speech therapists, vocal therapy, breathing exercises, running up theater stairs to open her lungs. She sat at the piano and cried during practice. "I know how it should sound, but my body won't listen," she said. Sometimes her voice returned, sometimes it disappeared, but she continued, quietly, stubbornly. She wanted not fame, but freedom. One evening, her mother told her, "If you want to perform, learn to be human again. Only a human can sing truth, and only truth can save a voice." In an interview, she later said, "I wasn't afraid of dying.
I was afraid of standing on stage and realizing there was no song left inside me. February 9th, 2012. A small club in Hollywood. No lights, no tickets, no posters. It wasn't a concert. It was a support night for her friend, Kelly Price. Whitney came quietly, no security, no orchestra. She looked at the stage, the way a person looks at a place they know better than people, but it was no longer home. It was a memory. Kelly saw her and said from the stage, "Whitney, come on up here." The room froze. She stepped up, slowly, gently, as if each step cost her breath. She took the microphone, uncertainly, but as if it were the last companion that still believed in her, and she began to sing, "Jesus loves me." Not as a star, not as a legend, as a human being, trying one more time to feel alive. Her voice didn't soar. It struggled, didn't seek height, sought forgiveness. She didn't hold the note. She held on to it, the way a person holds a hand before falling. Every sound asked heaven, "May I stay here a little longer?" And the room listened, as one listens to last words. Then, silence. People cried, but no one knew. They had just heard her final applause. She left the stage, sat down in a dressing room chair, and said quietly, "I feel like my soul wants to go home." No one took it seriously. They thought, "She's tired." They didn't understand. She was saying goodbye. February 11th, 2012. The Beverly Hilton Hotel, room 434. She was supposed to attend the Grammy event. To return. The bathroom. Steam. Silence. Her body was found hours later, but police noticed her phone on the floor. Inside, an unfinished song. 3 lines. "You can fall and still rise. I still believe." She left. Fans lit candles on streets. Artists cried on air. Stadiums dimmed their lights. And one sentence echoed around the world. She didn't die. She was tired. And if today someone listens to her song and suddenly breathes a little deeper, a little braver, a little freer, then the legend was right. Even if the voice fades, the soul will keep singing.